Hi, it's just 12 noon. The lunch whistle has gone off and I'm kind of hungry. I have just already done one video that actually I'm having trouble uploading that speaks to the next futuring piece in the PowerPoint that I also uploaded for you last week. And it's a pretty important one. And we will hope that things go fine. I just got distracted by a message. Forgive me. Where was I? This particular video is a kind of a hodgepodge, just to catch you up on certain issues that have to be caught up with. In no order. I'm going to put a discussion question up that's based on the video I just alluded to. I'm going to give you a condition, and then I'm going to ask you to write a one paragraph, not 10, one paragraph story about what that future would suggest, and you'll see how that hooks back to the scenario futuring devices that I'm trying to pull you into, as such. So that's one thing. The second thing is that you have I'm going to share the screen so you can visually see what I'm talking about. No, I don't want that. I'm not having a good day. He smiled. Let's start again. There we go. You're going to get a copy of this in your module, the latest module. Just want to remind you that on the 20th, which is I think 2 weeks from yesterday, actually, you'll have a memo assignment due. It's a 2-page memo assignment, and I just wanted to reiterate it, and I will continue to talk about it next week as well, which speaks to the fact that you're going to write a memo to your staff or to your community if you so desire. I recommend that, but I don't necessarily expect it. So you're a new principal, and you have a following issue or issues you need to that you recognize as an ENLT, as a principal of the general education population, as well as of a growing ENL population. And what you're seeing, for example, is a lack of unanimity of shared vision among stakeholders. Again, the ENL versus general education issue certainly maybe one you want to look at closely there. And then connected to that would be, you also see widening gaps of achievement between the general education children and the ENL children. And one of the things that you see as well is in your supervisory practices is that you see inconsistent instructional approaches in terms of how the ENL children are being taught. And you're owning up to the fact that since it's just you and one assistant principal, I just gave you an assistant principal or a chair, if you want to call him or her that you don't think every ENL teacher is being supervised the same way. And so what works for one ENL teacher may not be what was satisfactory by way of what another person may be seeing. And basically, you're seeing a lack of collective mindset among all the stakeholders to tackle these and other problems. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a committee. That's that word again, okay? But we're not going to call it a committee. We're going to call it a think tank. It's got a lot more lofty ideas in that, where people are going to hopefully exchange and collaborate among themselves to create an action plan to deal with these issues. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullets there, and really there's not 5. There's, I think, number 1, lack of unanimity and inconsistent and lack of collective mindset. Number 1 and 5 pretty much go together, okay? I see that 3, 2, 3, 4 are about ENL issues. What I want you to do is to write to all of the issues, but I want you to pick the ones that appeal to you the most. No, I'm taking that back. I want you to write to 1 or 2 of the issues you see here. So we'll keep it kind of simple for you for that. And I want you to write a memo where you're inviting your staff and perhaps community, if you feel comfortable with that. You're inviting your staff, and you're not going to penalize if you don't decide to use them. I'm just saying that it's something for you to consider. I would recommend it. Although you can see there's a host of problems with that if you're not comfortable with how you would handle that. So don't handle it if you don't feel comfortable with it. But what you want to do is bring a group of people together to think tank with you, to collaborate, to use that collective mindset that we've spoken about, ad nauseum since the beginning of the course, and with respect to the collective mindset book, to get folks to work with you. So what you're going to do here, and this is just a broad set of suggestions, I'll probably do more with this next week, come up with some kind of quote, something that engages people in recognizing the issues they need to take. Certainly you can use the Mayan poem if you feel that you like that the most, or something that sounds like that. And then what you're going to do is say, hey, I'm beginning to sense these issues are going on. And the purpose of this committee is to, and you're going to tell them what the purposes are. You're going to give them some room for them to add to the purposes. Hear me on this, to add to the purposes or take away from them as they sit with you. And you're going to authorize them / empower them. Remember, we're talking about collective mindset and collaboration, to make suggestions and even make decisions that you'll incorporate into whatever the action plan is that you want to pull together. So what you want to do is now you want to bring people in who care about the issue, you see, who want to know more about it, and want to create a new future. That's your memo. Now, in the meantime, what can you use to help you do that? Well, you have the book about the collective mindset. You have the videos about the collective mindset. You have your discussion responses in various places about the collective mindset and engaging people. You have the videos about futuring. I'm not telling you to wave the flag on high about futuring necessarily, but certainly there's a futuring element in that, and certainly that's part of the collective mindset. And so I would expect that you're going to be using that any way you'd like to use it. Okay? Give them a schedule, tell them what the expectations are. And the hardest part, I'm going to make your hair hurt when I mention this. Who's making the decision? He shouted. Is it this? In the end, if they make recommendations about this, and this, and you don't like any of them, you're going to say, go jump in the lake? Well, how are you going to handle that? Or are you looking for an advisory council from them? Or are you giving them authority to make decisions? Are you ready? With you. I have opinions about that, but I think you know what my opinion is. But that doesn't mean that my opinion is correct. I would suggest strongly that you draft something, even if it's a couple of paragraphs, and send it over to me in an email. I'll be happy to respond and give you some feedback on that. So that'll get you off the ground on that. So again, you have some more feedback about that. I've already told you, hopefully there's a video uploading as we speak about futuring. So there's 2 pieces to this. Now you're going to see this big long list here, and you're going to see names. And that's all the names of the class. Some of you have gotten to know better than others, but I do feel pretty comfortable talking to all of you. You've been just terrific people. And don't take it personally, but I put some people in yellow and I put some people in not yellow, just to highlight who they are. We're going to begin the simulation, and I'm not going to tell you any more about it than that today. Okay, next week I'll get into that more carefully, but I'm going to give you a task with this. So, for example, Nicholas, you're the principal in the educational leadership team, who is an expert on collaboration. P.S. Go read the chapter about collaboration again, or the video about collaboration. Diana is the superintendent. She's Nicholas's boss. She runs that team. Hear me, Diana. You run that team. And you're the culture specialist. Go back and read the chapter about culture. Go back and watch the videos about culture. We've talked about that quite a bit. Marlene is the union president. You have to have a union president in the education and leadership team. And you are, I'm in the wrong place, excuse me. Nicole, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correct. Joanne, you're also in the World Out There team. Let me go back and start again. Well, I guess I started with Nicholas. I should stay with that team. So let's go over to Marlene. I'll come back to you, Constantine. So Marlene is the union president, and she's a systems thinker. Go back and read the chapter about systems thinking. Go back and look at all the other material they're giving you about systems thinking. Elena, you are the pupil personnel director. I'll tell you more about that another day if you don't know what that position is. And you're the creative thinker in that group. Go back and read the chapters about the chapter about creativity, not decision making, about creative thinking, about theory U, the letter U, remember that? Because you're going to help people think creatively in your group. And Noha, you are the assistant superintendent in the ELT, okay? And you're the futurist. Now, a lot of these videos I've been doing the past few weeks, you really need to get your arms around and learn about. And going back up to the top, we have this World Out There team. That's the community. That's the people who don't run the buildings, but are certainly connected with them. Rowan Fennick, you are the board president. You run that group. You are in charge of the yellow group. I'm going to count on you to do some things for me, but I won't tell you what they are today. And you are their culture specialist. Constantine, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You belong to that same group, and you're the collaborative thinker. You're the collaborative specialist because you're the politician. Nicole, Jolene, you belong to the World Out There team, and you're the entrepreneur. You're the creative thinker. Read the chapter about that. And Gabriella, you are also in the yellow team, the World Out There team, and you are the economist, the demographer. I'll talk to you more about that more specifically next week. Don't get the tizzy about it yet. But you're the futurist. It's your job to learn all those techniques I've been teaching you because you're going to help your group do some heavy-duty futuring. Kay, you're also a World Out There team member, and you're a business person who is also the expert on systems. For now, it's just important for you to know your assignments. What you have two things to know. What your role is, like Kay is the business person. 3 things. What team you're on, and what specialty you have. That's really the most important. And you're going to use those 3 pieces of information and assignments to work with each other to come up with a plan. Now, if you think about it, what we're going to be doing in this task, once I get going with this, is you're going to be paralleling your piece about the memo you're writing. A lot of this kind of goes with all in one place, and we'll take that from there. So 4 things you haven't seen. So there'll be a link to this video. There will be a link to futuring. I'm not sure if that's the right link yet. I talked about modeling the assignment, okay, for what we call the alchemy simulation. More about that next week. And you also have you have a link to this particular video as well. So this is a particularly important premise that we're looking at now. And with that, I'm going to stop the share and stop the video.